Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, and today we're going to be diving into another installment of Hokage Legacy, and since we just did the 4th Hokage, it's only right that we cover the 5th Hokage next. When it comes to the character Tsunade, there are a lot of words to get thrown around about her, but I personally believe that the two best words to describe Tsunade and her Hokage Legacy are dreamer and healing. In fact, when you look at the meaning behind both of the words, they fit the character Tsunade perfectly. It's symbolic with her character, especially as Hokage. Understanding this part is what we'll need to do in order to appreciate the symbolism in her tenure as Hokage and how she came full circle as a character. It was due to the horrors of Tsunade's past that Tsunade walked down a path to her position as Hokage. It was the loss of her younger brother that pushed Tsunade towards medical ninjutsu and making a bold suggestion of a medical ninja being placed on every team in order to increase the survival rate on missions. It was the loss of her lover, a man whose dream was also to become Hokage that she also deeply believed in, that it sent Tsunade into living as part of a walking nightmare. A woman who was made famous for healing the bodies of others was now someone who was in dire need of being healed herself. Despite all of her medical skills, she couldn't heal her heart. She couldn't heal her soul. She was being shattered into millions of tiny pieces, searching through the darkness, trying to pick up the pieces to make herself whole again, but the wounds on her heart and her soul were too great to be repaired. The nightmare would seemingly never end. Drinking and gambling during all hours of the day, she went from being the legendary sanin to being the legendary sucker, losing on countless bets at gambling halls. A woman known for healing needed to be healed in the most desperate of ways. A woman who believed in dreams needed to be awoken from the nightmare of a life that she had created for herself. By the time she was approached to become a Hokage, Tsunade was at rock bottom. The lifetime of losses had left her heart, the heart of the first Hokage's granddaughter, extremely bitter. Her worldview was more on the darker side. When she was approached with becoming Hokage, Tsunade immediately refused and laughed her drunken laugh as she did so. The eyes of the first Hokage's granddaughter were staring into the eyes of the 4th Hokage's son. However, it would be during her encounters with Naruto that Tsunade's heart and soul would finally begin to heal at last. The woman stuck in a nightmare loop would begin to face her own demons. By turning down Orochimaru's offer to reincarnate her lover and her brother in exchange for healing Orochimaru's arm, Tsunade chose once again to believe in dreams and to begin dreaming once again. Though she didn't know any of the leaf gaining, she hadn't yet healed Rock Lee. Her decision to face Orochimaru was a testament to her belief that the dreams of the young must not be laughed at, but instead they're a gamble that they must have bets wagered on them because it's an investment in the future, and an investment in the future is one that you make every time without regrets. Her battle with Orochimaru is important because it shows Tsunade starting the process of what she does best, healing. Orochimaru had just crippled the entire village and killed the 3rd Hokage. Not only that, but he also killed the 4th Kage as well, leaving 2 of the 5 ninja villages without a leader. Though she did not kill Orochimaru in this battle, personally attacking him spoke volumes about her determination to heal the damage that was caused by her former teammate. The healing continued when she took up the position of Hokage formally by having her ceremony on top of the Hokage Tower. She was a legend of the Second Great Ninja War, one of the legendary sanin, and she had returned home to Letha Village after another member of the legendary sanin almost destroyed it and succeeded in killing the 3rd Hokage. The ninja from the older generation were now being guided by a ninja with legendary status. The younger generation of ninja like Tenten, who openly admired Tsunade, were now seeing the legend up close and personal for the first time in their lives. The non-combatants of the village were given a sense of security, something that was needed at this point in time, knowing that not only did they have someone who was physically strong enough to protect the village, but she was also a renowned medic with the skill to save their lives if push came to shove. However, healing for Tsunade went a lot further than this. Konoha was in a vulnerable position at this point. It was bad enough that they had just lost their Kage, which they weren't alone in due to the fact that the Sand Village also lost its Kaze Kage. However, Konoha had also suffered heavy damage during Orochimaru's attack, damages to his infrastructure as well as his casualties. She stepped into a giant mess, but Tsunade understood that this particular wound inflicted on the village by Orochimaru would require a bit of pain in order to be treated effectively. Just as a medic might use high levels of heat in order to cauterize a wound, Tsunade had to do something very similar with Konoha. The village needed funding in order to rebuild from Orochimaru's attack. It needed to show a sign of force to the other ninja villages so as to keep one of the more ambitious ninja villages, like say the Hidden Cloud village, from actually invading Konoha. As a result, all of the Jonin in the village were sent out on S-rank missions, and in the case of Kakashi, there was hardly any downtime. As soon as Kakashi returned from an S-rank mission, Tsunade sent him right back out on another one. Her belief in the dreams of the next generation would be tested very early on, when Orochimaru's Sound 4 would convince Sasuke to leave the village. In the fallout of the Sasuke retrieval mission, boys would become men as they face life-threatening battles, with both Choji and Neji being near death and requiring Tsunade and Shizune to oversee complex treatment in order to heal them. However, despite losing the Sharingan to Orochimaru, Tsunade continued to bet on the dreams of the next generation because that great loss had shown signs of strength for the new generation. She believed in the dream of Sakura, where upon seeing Naruto bandaged up, in the manga version of the story, Sakura notes that on the next mission she'll be right there beside Naruto when they go to find Sasuke. She believed in Naruto's dream enough that she allowed Jiraiya to take him out of the village for a 2.5-year training arc. She believed in Team 7's dream of saving Sasuke to the point where she didn't classify him as a rogue ninja, despite him technically being one, so all of Team 7's dream of reuniting might one day come true again. She further showed off her ability to heal when she built the alliance that she formed with the Sand Village, first by making the very wise and calculated choice to use the leverage that came from their attack on Konoha as a way to parlay it into an alliance where the two villages will work together, and in exchange the Sand Village would face less harsh sanctions from Konoha. When the Kage would be targeted for assassination for the second time in 2.5 years, this time with Gaara being kidnapped by the Akatsuki, Tsunade would be the one who came to their village's aid. The two villages had a nasty history of war, yet they were coming together on a regular basis to aid one another, which showed signs of healing between the two villages finally taking place. Whereas the other ninja villages had intel that the Akatsuki was active prior to Gaara being kidnapped and afterwards, where Gaara directly stated during the 5 Kage summit that he reached out for help in order to deal with the Akatsuki, but his pleas were ignored by all of the other Kage except for Tsunade. Where the other ninja villages failed to act, Tsunade boldly took charge with a brave gamble. Ever the aggressive gambler, Tsunade doubled down on her bets for the next generation's dreams. In particular, the dream of Naruto Uzumaki to become Hokage. She didn't hesitate to send Team 7 after the Akatsuki during the Kazekage rescue arc, which ended with Sasori dying. The moment that she caught wind that the Akatsuki were inside the Land of Fire, she mounted a nationwide manhunt for the immortal duo of Hidan and Kakuzu, both of whom were taken down by shinobi who she had sent out on a mission to kill them. Whereas the other Kages were too afraid to play their cards in their hands, Tsunade managed to play several winning hands, chipping away at the Akatsuki's military power. However, Tsunade would make a grave error in judgment when she and Jiraiya shared drinks and discussed the future of the village before Jiraiya went to the Rain Village. She again held on to her belief that Naruto would one day become Hokage, while also pointing out that Kakashi was ready for the position right now. With the war against the Akatsuki going well, and the dreams of the new generation that she vowed to protect firmly in Tsunade's care, Tsunade made a giant gamble that cost her on the front end, while Jiraiya had confirmed the location of the Akatsuki leader and eventually gained valuable intel on Pain. Jiraiya would fall in the battle, costing Tsunade one of the greatest losses of her life. The news of Jiraiya's death brought tears to the eyes of a woman who believed in dreams. For the third time in her life, the life of someone that she cherished would die, leaving behind dreams that went unfulfilled. Jiraiya never got to cash in on what some people believe was an unspoken agreement, that Tsunade would finally go out on a date with him, nor did he finally get the opportunity to see Naruto prove that he was the child of prophecy and become the Hokage that Jiraiya believed that he could become. The woman who had spent the prior 3 years as Hokage, healing an entire village in the aftermath of Orochimaru's actions and protecting the dreams of the next generation, her heart was once again wounded, and she was thrust back into a nightmare, except for this time, her eyes were wide open. The very same Akatsuki leader who killed Jiraiya had now begun to attack the village. Innocent people were being killed during the attacks. The lives of so many shinobi who had dreams that were just like Jiraiya's, dreams that went unfulfilled, were taken during the invasion. Everything she had fought so hard to develop and protect during her 3 years as Hokage, it was all going up in smoke. Anger filled her heart at the sight of Kakashi's dead body, so much so that she broke one of the columns on the Hokage tower. The very same Kakashi who she told Jiraiya that she believed was ready to become Hokage if anything were to happen to her. Though it drove her into a comatose state, Tsunade protected the entire village from Pain's attack, an attack that should have killed everyone in the village. The woman known for healing and protecting the dreams of others had just put her life on the line to ensure that those dreams had a chance to continue forward. We further see Tsunade place her bets on the dreams of the next generation, Naruto in particular, when the Hokage openly spoke of killing Naruto on day 2 of the Ninja War, and she would again bet on Naruto's dream by fighting alongside the other Kages against Madara Uchiha, suffering blows more than once that should have killed her. Despite being split in half by a tree, Tsunade focused first on healing the other Kages and later standing beside her student Sakura. Tsunade saw that the gamble that she made to train Sakura so Sakura could achieve her own dream had finally paid off. The two of them were using the power of the Byakugo seal, and they were able to heal thousands of shinobi on the battlefield as they fought in the climax of a war that was the literal embodiment of one of the words that I used to describe Tsunade's legacy: dream. If the Akatsuki won, then the infinite Tsukiyomi would take place. The entire world would fall asleep in the dream world. If the Alliance won, then the dream of a world of free will that would be used to establish lasting peace would finally come to fruition. A world where Naruto would become the Hokage. It's a very fitting way to look at the Ninja War from that perspective. A legendary medic who believes in the dreams of others is healing thousands of people to prevent the world from entering into a forced dream world. In the end, Tsunade would come full circle. By the events of the Kakashi heated novel, Lightning in the Frozen Sky, Tsunade would push Kakashi into formally becoming the 6th Hokage by officially having his Hokage ceremony on top of the Hokage tower, paying off her bet with Jiraiya that Kakashi would one day become the Hokage, while also being the bridge to Naruto becoming Hokage himself. The woman who believed in a dream where the world would be at peace was now seeing the buds of those tree leaves begin to blossom, but in the time after the war, Tsunade would have to heal herself once again, which according to Naruto, it came from the after effects of the Ninja War, almost dying at the hands of Madara Uchiha in particular. Naruto openly suspected that this might have led to Tsunade increasing her drinking post 4th grade Ninja War. However, unlike the first time we saw her where she was a drunk woman who no longer had any hope for the world, Tsunade was still acting officially in the role of Hokage. She had not forsaken herself like she did when we first saw her, despite the fact that she was drinking now more than ever before. However, that's gonna be it for this installment of Hokage Legacy. Now that we've covered the 5th Hokage, obviously up next we're gonna cover the 6th Hokage, who hands down has one of the more important Hokage legacies, and it's more than just being a bridge to Naruto's Hokage. So let me know what you guys are most gonna remember Tsunade for down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Have an awesome day, guys.